of ash and steel. What to say? I really wanted to love this game, and I still want to. I went in with high hopes because I am a fan of RPGs, and I do enjoy in particular this smaller niche of Gothic-like games. But, as it is my duty, I have to be objectively critic. Now, let's start with a premise. The playtest was an alpha version of the game. There are things that can, and I am sure will be corrected or changed. But unfortunately there are also things that I don't know if they will be addressed at all. I have not done any research on the devs. It seems to be a new small indie studio. They seem to care about the game. I could feel the love and the effort they put into it. And that's exactly why I need to tell things how they are. If they will ever watch this video, I really hope they will take the criticism as a way to improve on the game, because I actually want it to succeed. So, let's dive into it, shall we? First, the pros. The environments looked great, on a composition level. I felt like I was thrown back 20 plus years playing those old school RPGs we've all grown to know and love. The graphics were nice, at least when talking about the environment. On the other hand, I think character models and textures could use some touches to be on par with the world, but they aren't exactly bad.
Named your cart? What of it? Didn't the old barnacle bucket you rode up to the island in have a name? I decided she needed a name, so I named her.
Does everyone here have an eye for outsiders?
The music was decent, definitely felt right for the type of adventure and game. It didn't leave any particular impression, but thanks to it, I managed to feel more immersed in the world. The optimization, it was impeccable. I didn't experience a single frame drop. The game ran as smooth as butter, which, for an indie title, often isn't the case. So I will say props to the devs for that. The voice acting was surprisingly better than what I was expecting. Now, it wasn't stellar, and some of the interactions were a bit, let's say, weird. There was one big problem with it, and I will talk about that in the cons.
Please help me.
Here, we're in Dire Straits. Some sod forgot to keep an eye out on the water barrels back in the starter. Now half the crew's laid out from drinking bad water.
I see.
No, I can make fun of him. Just wait a second and I'll show you. Okay, that's a bit cruel.
Just wait a second and I'll show you.
You're a wise-ass boy, but here's what we'll do.
Next, we have the world building and the world itself. I could feel that they were trying to organically make me immerse into this new world that they are crafting. And that's a good thing, as it neither felt forced nor overly exposed. Also, the game's classified as open world on the Steam store page, and while I don't know if that's entirely true, it was definitely open map, as after the prologue, I was thrown into a forest with no real boundaries or invisible walls, outside of the classic unclimbable mountains. Then we have the quests. It was really nice to see that talking with random named NPCs would basically always lead me to some sort of side quest. Also, while I did not test the full extent of it, I was surprised to see that my choices in quests actually seemed to potentially have different consequences. Okay, see, these are the things I like. getting random quests by talking with random people with no quest markers. But damn, sir, are you okay? Are you trying to tell me something? Lastly, the survival aspects. If you are someone who loves games like Outward, then you will be pleased to know this game also takes inspiration from that. In fact, I would categorize this game as a survival Gothic-like RPG with crafting elements. When playing this, you will also have to satisfy your character needs, like hunger and thirst, and make sure to set up camps to rest up and cook yourself more meals for the road. There are also plenty of crafting activities, from making bows and arrows to blacksmithing, fishing, I think I failed. I will explore fishing another time. Leatherworking, cooking like I already mentioned, and who knows, I might even have missed out on some of them. And now, the cons. While visually the game wasn't terrible, the dialogue animations were really subpar. To the point that I could not look at the characters talking to each other without cracking a laugh. Oh, I cannot look at those faces, come on. They make me laugh. I want to, okay, I really want to love this game, but they need to work on the animations a lot. And while this issue can be fixed, I am quite worried about it, because I know how hard it can be to get that aspect right in a game. Part of the problem was definitely caused by the camera, or rather, the fake camera the characters look at when engaged in dialogue. Sometimes it was completely off, leading to their eyes looking really weird, squinting in odd shapes and looking in the wrong directions. You know what's the worst part of the faces and the animations? The eyes. The eyes don't seem to be working right. Just like mine. You see how he is looking up, but it doesn't feel like he's looking up to me. And my character is not even looking down. So it's like I'm talking to the wall next to him. Other animations, like the crouched walk for stealth, were also a bit weird, but I wasn't especially put off by those. Next, moving on back to the voice acting. Like I mentioned in the pros, it was better than I expected, but I am not entirely sure the statement is correct, because the game had yet another bug that made all of the dialogues sound really low, which was frustrating, not gonna lie. In fact, so much so that at some point I just started skipping them, because I could not raise my own volume further, the game was already maxed out and I could barely hear them talk. Then again, this should just be a simple bug and I'm sure it will get fixed. I think the voice acting isn't even terrible. I think it's okay so far, but I cannot hear much of it, that's the problem. Okay, let's do something because it's a bit annoying. For this playtest I'm not gonna listen to the dialogues. That's also a way to avoid spoiling me the game. Speaking of bugs, there were quite a few. I haven't encountered anything critical, mostly interface related, with menus refusing to cooperate, typos in the dialogue choices and quest descriptions, audio bugs like I already mentioned, etc. Now for another major con, the combat. Or rather, let me be more specific. This is an individual point of contention, because some people will probably not mind it. So, let's expand on it. The combat is clearly very inspired by games from the past. For the most part, I would say it is a Gothic-like combat, but it also uses a stance system very reminiscent of the Witcher series, where we have 3 stances: heavy, quick and balanced, for different playstyles and situations. This is heavy for sure. This is thrusting, maybe this is balanced. Yeah, definitely. So we have balanced, fast, heavy. I say it's more Gothic-like because, just like in that series of games, you start off extremely weak. It's a slow, grounded style of combat, where you will not get many chances to make mistakes. Errors will be fatal. Furthermore, there are no classes, only attributes and skills, and to master the skills you will need to find trainers to teach you, and to meet certain requirements. So, why did I put this in the cons? Because I know for a fact that a lot of people, especially from the younger generations, but not exclusively, do not like that type of combat. It's very niche. And while personally I do not mind it, I have to say that in this game in particular, something felt off about it. Comparing it to other similar titles, I felt like we had an inferior version of those systems here. I don't really know why, if it was a matter of balance with the stamina amount and the swings animations, or if it was for some other reason, but it felt a bit clunkier than what I'm used to. I got destroyed by a guy with one leg. Other very subjective cons are the open world itself and the questing system. This game does not really hold your hands. Outside of tutorials you will not find any help. There is no minimap, only a compass. I didn't even have an actual full map to check out. Although I will say that it is possible we'll be able to acquire or even draw one ourselves in the full game. After all, our character is supposed to be a cartographer. It would be quite the irony if we don't have access to one. The NPCs will not repeat their dialogues, and the quest log wasn't very detailed in its descriptions, so if you do not pay attention to what is happening and what is being said on screen, you will feel overwhelmingly lost while trying to complete quests. As there are no directions and no quest markers, you will have to find and deduce things on your own. You will be thrown into the world with a goal, but no directions for it, and the chances of you randomly dying by meeting an overleveled angry bandit while exploring will be quite high. Lastly, for the cons, we have the main character, and what do I mean by that? It's yet another very subjective point. Our main protagonist is pre-written and pre-modeled. There is no character creation and there is no customization, at least that I could see. So, if you don't like to play as someone else and make choices for them, this might tick you off. On the positive side, having a pre-built character gives them the opportunity to voice out every line of spoken dialogue. On the negative, you might not like who you are playing as, and thus you might end up not getting attached to your own character. Oh god. So, in conclusion, these were my first impressions for the playtest, which, I remind you once again, it's an alpha state of the game, and I am definitely sure they put more work into it before the release. If I were to give suggestions to the devs, in my opinion, right now your main priorities should be the dialogue, animations and the combat itself. Fix how they look, fix how they move, make the combat smoother and less clunky, slowly address all other problems, and you will come out with a great product, which I can already tell could even be an 8 out of 10 game. But right now, as things are, I cannot rate what I've seen beyond a 6 out of 10. And I am being very generous about it, because I like what you've put together and I want this game to have success. Let me know your opinion down below. Have you tried the game yourselves yet? What did you think about it? I am really curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you all for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this useful. Stay cool and I'll see you next time.